Ziggity Zig talking his way out of bronze game number 93. That's not a bad split, I don't think, between myself and... he still beat me. Lethal over here. On the right-hand side of Antigua Shipyard, I can barely tell. Darn you, fog of war! Impeding my vision and other things. Probably just vision. Now, this game, I'll just speed it up here to get into it because this was me dealing with... I've started playing not too bad against Terran, but I think that's mostly just because the Robo works pretty well. Or the 3-gate Robo. Maneuver. There I go out to scout. Luckily I do my clockwise, find him right away, and I think I get in before the block, and I do a little boogie around and see what I can find, but then when I try to get out... Oh, I do make it out. It must have been... It was a different game that I got locked in his base. So he starts chasing me, so I decide, oh, I see, I'm going to sneak down here in the middle. No dice. Alright. Forward pylon right there. So I can warp inside my base if need be. And at the same time, once that comes up, there's only a small bit of vision that I cannot see right here. So unless he's really snazzy on the vision, then there's not much point in getting away from there. Now, there is my Cyber Core. So, the Cyber Core come down. I believe I then get a second gate in a moment. Send my Zealot around to scout just to see what's going on. Staying pretty much on par. It was a decent game back and forth. 8 p.m. Yeah, it's about the same. If I remember, was this the guy that was a silver? I played a few silvers. I had a really long game against a silver that was ridiculous. Oh no, okay, so this is the one. I played a bunch of Terrans. And this is the one where I didn't get the Robo out as fast as I wanted it to because I got a Sentry out instead. Even though I was kind of... Yeah, I had a decent visibility going for me. Regardless. Yeah. So I was ahead. Worker supply doing alright. Doing okay there. So there is a 609 warp finish. Yeah, that's not great, but oh well. Here I come. Get a... try to get down the ramp going on. Get a few more units. Forward pylon ready. Try not to supply block myself. Staying on top of the supply block pretty well. I'm kind of proud of myself there. I eventually get blocked up later. Cloaking field. Oh, yeah, there it comes. Now, as soon as I finally get my first observer out, there I go. So the observer comes out. I keep working on an immortal, trying to get a bit more room there. I see, oh, there's a starport. What's attached to the starport? That isn't working. And there goes the first Banshee. So I think, aha. So then I decide, let's get another another observer out and put it right here. And so I had sort of an in the back group of stalkers. And then I left this observer up front just to see, because he didn't appear to be moving out, didn't appear to be expanding, nothing of the sort.
I am here in the shadows.
I've got a decent army up front. Yeah, staying on top of things, doing quite well. Let's have a look. He, for whatever reason, left that over there and decided, aha, there we go. So his Banshees are just sitting over there. I was getting ready just in case he was going to come in. So he does that, spots my line of defense, knows I'm there, and yet I believe there he is. He still decides, yep, alright, he's got an observer and 4 stalkers waiting for me. I'd best attack. Ooh, I got lucky there. I accidentally had my probe hotkey to that group there, so. And then once they came back, I realized that there was a little SCV sitting here, so I take him out pretty quickly, just to get rid of it. Now is when I start getting a little bit supply blocked, but at least I have +1 starting, and I'd like to get some more units, but I am quite supply blocked at 65 of 66, doing slightly better than he is. So there they go again, this very, very slow Banshee harassment. They have cloak. They can cloak, but he's still just waiting. And I am just as patient on the side here, because I knew he was working on it. So in the meantime, I decided to try to get a bit of a force together, see if I can make a little bit of a poke. I think my poke comes far too late, though. It took me far too long. Even though I've got my observer here, I know what I'm up against. I know he's got 2 tanks, fair amount of marines, medivacs. Oh, finally the movement comes in. He has decided, alright, he is totally prepared for me, but I'm still going to move in. That's when I spot him on my map. And he notes and runs away. Does he run away fully? No. No, he comes back and tries again. Am I trying here? Nope. Another pylon. Cool. But he comes in against that. I managed to stick with my observer. He doesn't even take out the pylon. He gets 1 probe. Not quite sure what was going on with this probe. He probably taken it. Yep, he dies. So he's taken out 2 probes. Fair enough. I have a very small and crappy expo going on right there. He is still attempting this, despite the fact that I have an observer and 4 stalkers ready. At the same time, I try to mass up my army at the front door. He is also massing his army, but he is apparently quite supply blocked as well. I am less supply blocked. I managed to take care of that in some ways. Oh, there they go again. Attempts. I get my probes out of there. I'm a bit late. Yeah, I probably should have done a bit more there. He still thinks I don't have the observer that he actually scouted. So this harassment, this Banshee pressure just does not work. I managed to keep up my income. Maybe not quite so much, just because... There we go, that's better. So he managed to scare off my probes for a little bit. Didn't kill quite so many of them. I'm still trying to get... I'm still heaping on the Immortals, which is probably a bad plan because at the moment, there are a few tanks and Marauders, so it'd be nice to have Immortals because for the most part I build Stalkers to take care of everything else. And a few Sentries just to be on the safe side. And there. 14 minutes, 43 seconds. I am finally ready to move out. Here come a few tanks. So he's 2 tanks, and then a bunch of Banshees. 3 tanks. Here they come. Getting set up. Happily, I see this entire thing happening. So I know what's going on. I know what I'm heading into. So this... I can't remember if this is the game when I try to be all smart, but...
You must construct additional
there we go. So I spot the Banshees going by, and I try to see if I can pick one off. I get one. He sends the other ones away. No idea why. He just has to dive at me. I decide I'm not going to try to chase and look for a third. I probably should have looked for a third, because in the off chance that he did have one, I would have been in a bit of trouble. Here is where I make an interesting decision. I decide, alright, what I see up here is a small row of tanks. Just a small one. So I'm thinking 4 Immortals. 4 Immortals, send those in to take out the tanks, then bring up the rear with the rest of them. I lose a couple of Immortals, but I take out the tanks, which would have wasted the rest of this army. Still quite a bit ahead. Start trying to warp in here. Now, the funny, hilarious thing is, you see what he's doing? He's being all sneaky with these Banshees. He's decided that he's still going to move the Banshees around. This Banshee cloak thing is totally going to work, despite the fact that I am killing his base right now. Despite that fact, his 26 APM to my 24 APM is totally going to win. There goes that command center, and I say, fine, good riddance to you, I'm going to take out your production facilities. While I'm taking out your production facilities, I'm not going to worry too much about where that command center is going, but keep an eye down here. Oh, who saw this coming? Not me. He started taking out a few probes, but how many does he get? I do kind of get on top of that. And I do have my group of stalkers and an observer who's going to come in here, hopefully take care of that, at least frighten them enough. Still thinking that the Cloaked Banshees is going to work, despite the fact that it has not worked for the entire 17 minutes of this game, and leaves. When in doubt, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Unless it's Cloaked Banshee. If I am on to your Cloaked Banshee, you know what? Cloaked Banshee ain't gonna win. There's a happy building flying away there. I don't think he had... Nope, didn't have any upgrades for that. I was already at +1. +2 was nowhere near anywhere on the way. I had no upgrades. I had a pretty small army. Yeah, but managed to keep on top of what he actually had. So I knew what he had, and I tried to react as best I could. If someone can think of a better way that I could stay on top of Cloaked Banshees and tanks, how to defend and push at the same time. I managed to defend this little spot by having, while at the same time having my army at the front. Still had a little bit of an army that was here able to defend, despite the fact I did have to get my probes out of the way. He did kill quite a number of probes, but I can't believe I remember that was Control R. Look at that. I remember that was Control R. So workers killed. That's kind of unfair because I've just waltzed in here and... Alright, let's go back a bit. Alright. So by the time I come up his ramp, and he is about to come up here and kind of reverse attack me, now how many does he get up here? He gets quite a few. But I also am moving up into his base, so let's see how many he kills. How many probes does he got? 8, 10, I think it's 5, 6. Yeah, quite a few. He gets about 10. 10's decent. That's not bad. I'm really sorry. That's cool. And the APM at the end of the game is 24 and 25. Look at that. Well, leave me a comment, send me an email, ziggyzig@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter, @ZiggyStarcraft. Plenty more of those came from, lots more games. Starting to win the odd game here or there. I'm not sure if I'm more than 50%, but I might have an update by that for next time. Stay tuned.